Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. I believe it's going to be Sunday now when you guys are watching this. So, two things we're going to go over right now. There's going to be Bitcoin miners versus Bitcoin this past week, and we're going to take a look at how the miners stacked up against each other for the month of July production, where we do 6 and 8 different metrics on them just to kind of compare them by production, other things, Bitcoin hodl, things like that. We'll get into all the details. But this is always fun to take a look at which ones are doing really good, which ones are not doing so well. So, as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. I'm investing in the following companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. And let's take a look at what happened this past week here with the miners and Bitcoin. And then we'll get into the monthly valuations of the miners. So on this chart, we always look at the from 52-week lows, which are the green bars, and then from the 52-week highs, which are the red bars. As we can see here in the past 52 weeks, core is up the most as it has been in the past couple of weeks that we've been tracking this. Well, since they've gone up in value from like 8 cents, 4 cents, whatever they were at, to 90 some cents, they've definitely outperformed everybody else. But they're up 1,165%. Then you got Cypher up 860%, Bit Digital is up 575%, Iris is up 454%, DigiHost 416, Marathon 378, and you got TerraWolf at 372, Aride at 368, Bitfarms 320, Argo 297, Hut 8 280, CleanSpark 274, Hive is up 244, DMG is 234, BitDeer is up 173%, Bitcoin is only 86% right now. Then you got the two laggards here that we've seen here continuously, which has been Sphere 3D at only up being 20% now, Mawson being only up 12%. They had another rough week this past week, mainly because we haven't really heard anything from them. I'm still waiting on, I believe they're the only ones that haven't provided their production update yet for July. I believe that's the only one I'm still missing data on. So that could be it. They're always late to provide this kind of information. They should be more forward-facing, forward-focused on investors, getting the information out there to them sooner, being a little bit more proactive on those types of things, I think would be a good thing for them. And it would also let the investors know how they are doing faster. So this could be why they're lagging a little bit. Okay, now as far as how they are from the 52-week highs, we can see that Bitcoin's only about 8.6% away from its 52-week highs. Other one's pretty close right now is CleanSpark, only 14.2%. We got BitDeer up only 14.7% away from that. Some of the worst ones here are Mawson's 82% away from that, Argo 78% as well. And then you got Core is still 74% away from their 52-week highs. And then some of the other guys are like 30, 20 some percent along that line. Okay, let's take a look at how they did this past week. So this past week, Bitcoin was actually like up just barely. I track it Friday to Friday, and it was up 0.01% on the week for me. We can see that BitDeer, with the performance it had yesterday, which was fantastic for them, was 37.34% up on the week. CleanSpark also had 2 good days, Thursday and Friday, after they reported their quarterly results on Wednesday. They're up nicely here as well, 23% in the last week. And you got Argo being up 7%, Cypher being up 5%, DMG up 3%, Iris up 1.8%, Bitfarms up 1.28%. So those have all performed better than Bitcoin, and you can see the ones that have done worse than Bitcoin this past week, which include TerraWolf, Hut 8, Bit Digital, DigiHost, Marathon, Core, Sphere 3D, Riot, surprisingly, is down 10.9%, almost 11% on the week. And you got Mawson being down 28.39% on this week, which kind of coincides with the chart up top, where they've been lagging, obviously, the worst here. Okay, so if we look at that, that looks pretty good. And let's take a look at the 4 weeks, see how the miners have performed from 4 weeks ago. Let's see here, we want to sort this descending as well and go to here. So here's the 4 weeks. Bitcoin is actually down 2.78%. The only companies that have done better are BitDeer, 11.52% up. CleanSpark is up 1.56 from 4 weeks ago. Core is up just barely 0.83%. Bitcoin's down 2.78%. Then everybody else here has done far worse. We can see Mawson's down 47% in the last 4 weeks. Okay, going to the 8 weeks here really quick as well. Take a look at that. And we can see here that Bitcoin is down 5.28%, and the following companies have done better than Bitcoin. So you got CleanSpark being up 42%, TerraWolf up 41%, Riot up 31%, DMG up 29%, Cypher up 26%, Iris 23%, Core 22%, Marathon 17%, Hive 12%, BitDeer 10%, Bitfarms up 3.95%, and Hut 8 1.37%. And then these guys have done the worst. Mawson again being down 56%. So I'm a little concerned with them. Don't know if they're going to be able to survive the halving event. We'll have to see their financials when they report. just to see how they look. Sorry, I had to yawn. Excuse me. Yeah. Sphere obviously also in that boat, down being 18% here. But yeah, just definitely interesting in that way. And then let's take a look at the 12 weeks really quick, and we'll call this a day on this part of it. So from 12 weeks ago, BitDeer is up 145%, Core is up 126%, TerraWolf up 70, Marathon up 66, Iris up 63, DMG up 62, Hive 56, CleanSpark up 54, Cypher up 53, Hut up 50, Bitfarms up 43, Riot up 39, BitDigital up 29, Argo is up 21%, Bitcoin's up 8.82% from 12 weeks ago. And then these guys have done the worst. Mawson again being at the very bottom here, down 52% from that time frame. Okay, and then here's how the numbers kind of stack up here when you look at them on the weekly. We see a lot more green here than from 12 weeks ago, a little bit less from 8, 4, and then we're seeing a little bit more green here in the past week. And then here's our every week chart, how things have stacked up. We're seeing a little bit more green, obviously, this past week. We had almost like 3 weeks of red here in the past. Prior to that, we had almost 5 weeks of green with a little mixed in there. So we might be due for a green week this week. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. Okay. So that's it for that. Let's take a look at the monthly operational updates, metrics, grades, whatever you want to call it. So we grade them on the following things: month over month hash rate growth. How much do they grow percentage wise? Their current hash rate, Bitcoins mined per exahash. So their efficiency, how efficient are they? And then month over month BTC mined percentage. Did they increase their Bitcoin being mined? BTC mined days mined. So this is my way of tracking them to see if they were actually mining for the full 30 or 31 days in the month. If not, how many days were they actually operational for in that time frame? And then we also have HODL and BTC percentage sold for the month. So whatever they generated, what did they sell? What was the percentage that they sold of what they generated on that? So we have 8 metrics here in total. And then we also grade them on the 6 metrics, which don't include HODL or current hash rate. We just take those two out. We just more or less look at production efficiencies and things like that on those. Okay. So we'll go through this really quick here. Month over month percentage hash rate, higher is better. CleanSpark grew tremendously here in the month of July. They were up 34% from the prior month. Sphere 3D was up 10%. Marathon was up 6.21%. Hive was up 5.37%. Argo was up 5.22%. Cypher was only up 1.84%. And the rest of them were basically flat. No growth in July. Current hash rate, obviously Marathon is the biggest one here. 18.8 exahash, followed by Riot at 10.7. And you got CleanSpark at 9 exahash. Cypher down to 5.8. And you got Iris at 5.5. Bitfarms at 5.3. TerraWolf at 4.9. BitDeer at 3.8. Hive at 3.4. And then you got the rest going down there. With DigiHost DMG being the smallest. Mawson also being only 1.4 exahash. That's possibly why they're down so much as well. Plus the issues that they've had last year, having to sell some of their facilities and miners to get out of debt trouble. Maybe that hasn't really gotten past them yet. Next is BTC per exahash. Higher is better. So Iris came in at number 1 here at 75.71 based on my calculations. Hive came in second with 75.26. Bitfarms came in, BitDigital came in third at 74.71. Bitfarms at 71.29. And then TerraWolf came in at 67.35. CleanSpark got knocked down a little bit here because they installed so much hash rate that always kind of counts against their efficiency, because they're now running for the full 9 exahash. You know, if they grow by almost 3 exahash, whatever it was that they grew by 2 something, those are not all installed at the beginning of the month. Those are always installed throughout the month. That always hurts their end of the month efficiency numbers. Okay. I could have used I know it's also used the average, whatever the average was for the month. So where they started, where they ended up at, to use that average number to do it. I just do it at the end of the month and hash rate. Okay, month over month BTC mined percentage. Marathon saw the biggest growth here as far as BTC mined improvement, 20%, followed by CleanSpark being up 17%. Cypher was up 16%. BitDigital up 11%. And then we have Hive in there up 1.54%. Everybody else was actually down for the month. So DigiHost was down quite a bit, 21%. Who else was down quite a bit here? Riot was down surprisingly 10.87. They curtailed a lot. They also get a lot of that electrical credits and things like that for curtailing. So those how those stacked up. BTC mined for the month. Marathon came in number 1 with 1,176. followed by CleanSpark at 575. Then you got Iris at 423, Cypher at 418, Riot at 410. So those are the top 5 right there. Then you got Bitfarms pretty close to them as well, 378, TeraWolf at 330, Hive at 263, and then you got the rest going down the list here. Now, as far as days mined, we got a tie. That's a 4-way tie between Iris, Hive, BitDigital, and CleanSpark. They were pretty much running for a full month here, based on the numbers that we had for them on the miners that were already in there to calculate how much they actually generated revenue, things like that. So those were running for 31 days. Bitfarms was at 30 days. TeraWolf was at 28 days. Marathon, 26 days. DigiHost was at 25, along with Cypher. BitDeer was at 24. Sphere was at 22 days. DMG was at 20. Argo was at 20. Hut 8 was at 18 days. And then Riot was at like 15 almost 16 days on that. So they curtailed really, really a lot in July. Okay. Then we go on to HODL here. HODL, we know Marathon has the most HODL, 12,964, followed by Hut 8, 9,152. Riot is in third place with 7,275. Then you got Hive with 2,032, and now CleanSpark with the amount of HODL that they put, well, they pretty much put away a lot in July. That got them to 1,061. So those are the top 5 right there. And the rest you can see down below. BTC percent sold. So CleanSpark sold the least amount. And I need to update this chart probably. Let's see here. Let me do that really quick. BTC sold, because it looks like I got Hut 8 in there. BTC sold percentage. Let's see here. Sort ascending. There we go. Okay. Let's go back here. So will that actually impact the numbers? Yes, it would. See, we caught something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So based on that, does that actually impact our numbers over here? 21 for Hut 8. Where's Hut 8? Hut 8 was 72. That would get them above BitDeer. It looks a little bit. So we'll change that as well. Sort ascending. And we'll do this as well. Sort ascending to make sure we get the right numbers. Okay. Towards the bottom. All right. We caught something. We've got it fixed. Okay. So BTC sold. Percentage, we can see here that CleanSpark sold the least, followed by BitDigital, only 44%. Marathon sold 63%. Hive and DMG, 71%. Cypher, 75%. Hut 8, 86%. Bitfarms, 88%. Riot, 93%. Argo, 98%. And then these guys sold the most, with Sphere actually selling more than they actually generated, and Mawson just did not report, so Mawson's always going to be at the end here for most of these. Okay, so here's the score based on the 8 metrics, all of them. We can see here that Marathon and CleanSpark are tied for first place on this. Then you got Hive at 37 points. Then you got Cypher and BitDigital tied for third place. And you got Bitfarms and Iris tied for fourth place at 47. And then fifth spot would be TeraWolf. Then you got Riot, Hut 8, BitDeer, Argo, Sphere, DMG, DigiHost, and Mawson. Okay, so that's on those metrics. And then scores based on 6 metrics, does not include HODL or current hash rate. We can see here that CleanSpark came in at number 1 at 13 points, Marathon 19, so the second spot. Hive came in third, BitDigital came in fourth, Iris came in fifth, and then you got Cypher at 6th spot, 7th spot with Bitfarms, then TeraWolf, and you got all these guys in the back end here. Okay, so that's just based on their performance, things like that. So it's nice to see how they're doing. And when we look at the quarterly results, we'll look at, I can actually pull this up for you guys. I've started to update this a little bit here, as we're getting more and more information in from the miners. But we look at a lot more things here. We look at quarter-over-quarter hash rate growth, year-to-date hash rate growth, year-over-year hash rate growth, quarter Bitcoins per exahash, quarter BTC mined, quarter BTC per million shares, growth left petahash. We also look at compensation versus revenue on the miners, price to book ratio. We'll look at current ratio. We look at quarter current ratios, quarter-over-quarter debt equity ratio. So we look at debt equity ratio itself. Has that improved? And then we do it on the sum metrics for performance and the financial side of things as well. See how they're looking at it. And we judge them all down at the bottom there below. So that'll be coming out once all the miners actually provide their numbers, which should be, I'm hoping, within the next month or so. So that'll be kind of interesting to take a look at those numbers. So this is kind of like just the monthly things that we want to look at, see how the miners are doing month to month. Then we do a much deeper dive when we look at actually the quarterly results, see how they did from the prior quarter to the current quarter that we're in, and things like that. So that is it. As always, the spreadsheet is going to be available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there. I'll try and get this for the YouTube members as well as the screenshots. get that uploaded either tonight or sometime tomorrow, and we'll call it a day. So we'll see what happens during the week. Other than that, I hope you guys just have a great weekend. I'll see you guys during the week, and I hope you guys have a great week as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.